There it is. There it is, guys. There's a ongoing joke I've always had about shonen battle series, and that at some point, there will be a meteor dropped. It seems to just happen all the damn time. I think it's a really easy flex thing to do. I mean, who doesn't like to see a meteor? And I do like that it's almost a meme at this point, and I like that a lot. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, just some of the series. Naruto did a meteor, Bleach did a meteor, Fairy Tail did a meteor, Seven Deadly Sins did a meteor, One Piece did a meteor, just trying to, Undead Unluck did a meteor in chapter 1. I don't know, it happens a lot, and I'm sure there's a bunch more before anybody tries to, like, grab more and quote me, but you know what I mean? It's something that seems to just exist all the time within battle shonens. I don't know what it is, but I always really liked it. It's just a trope that I'm always very happy to see. But again, I'm still surprised what's going on. I'm sort of surprised, but not really, what's going on with Sukuna and Jogo, because it seemed like he wanted to help him. He was going to assist him, but he's still wanting to fight Jogo in the process. And Jogo is not doing well. So the thing is, Jogo, we've seen his character fight a couple times. And actually, thinking at this fight, and then thinking back on that, I like even more, and I'll explain why in a second. But Jogo is a special grade. He's extremely powerful. As we saw with Dagon, he's a special grade. He was still really powerful, but he was inexperienced. And here we see, we saw Jogo when Jogo actually stepped up against those characters. Even though they were injured and whatnot, he still completely steamrolled them. And I think that they were all aware that it wouldn't have been nearly as close if it was Jogo. I mean, I still think that I think it was still possible for them to win even without Toji showing up, maybe. But I don't think so with Jogo. Jogo just seemed way more powerful than them very clearly, and just completely dominated them. And which was really cool, because when you think back at like the first time we really see him fight against Satoru, he got completely demolished, but that was against Satoru Gojo. We know how big of a deal he is. And now we're seeing him right after, like I said, he just walked through these guys, seeing him fight against somebody of also high stature as like Satoru. We got Sukuna, and Jogo is just getting manhandled again. It's weird to think about. I think putting him at a spot where he could walk through a couple characters was really smart to display, because if it wasn't for that case, he would look like such a chump right now, when in reality he seems to, he's overconfident. He tried to fight Satoru, and he didn't know how powerful he was, really. And with Sukuna, it just seems like he knows he's completely effed, and he wants to try and figure out what to do there. So Sukuna is just demolishing him. He's just, like, running him through, like, skyscrapers, and, like, ripping off parts of his body. And there is, like, some hints in the chapter about what his power is, which I'm really intrigued by. Because he even hints, like, at the end, he's not going to tell him what his curse technique is. So I'm wondering if maybe soon we'll get it from him. Maybe, like, when he's about to kill him, if he ends up deciding to kill him, or somebody will explain it. Because there's no way that there's absolutely no way that Sukuna's cursed ability, like, isn't known somewhere within the world. Like, we know that it's gotta, somebody's gotta have the information. They beat him at some point. He's a big deal. It has to be something that we can be like, oh yeah, it's this thing or the other. He's got this ability. It's got to be recorded somewhere. But after this point, like, he's messing with him. I like how Sukuna is, like, completely just mocking Jogo, and Jogo's getting pissed. Jogo's terrible idea for him to take up an attitude with Satoru, but he ends up using his best ability. That's what he said, maximum meteor, which is really badass. And I did really like him thinking back to when he was asked originally, like, how strong is he compared to Sukuna, and being like, about like 8 or 9 fingers would be kind of generous for my power level. But in reality, it was like Sukuna is way more powerful than him, like way more powerful than him. He just was overconfident. I liked that they had that panel where he was thinking back on that. Like, it's one of those times where it's just like, oh shit, I'm in some trouble. I've overstepped my bounds. But him with the meteor, I think, is really cool. And the thing I actually really like about it is the way he's holding it as he's moving. So it's not just like drop a meteor. He's like almost kind of dragging it along with his power and getting ready to use it, which I think is really badass. Visually, especially, I think it looks really cool. But you have these guys fighting, trying to do their own thing on the ground, but Sukuna just immediately shows up, and he's like not letting them do anything, and he decides to tell them that nobody's allowed to move, and if they break the rule, he's gonna kill them, and he's gonna tell them when they can move. Which I really like this playful side of Satoru, or not sorry, Satoru of Sukuna, because he's not as pure evil, kind of malefic bad guy as he was kind of depicted earlier in the series, like early on. And this is the first time I think we really get to see Sukuna, because we've seen small instances with him, and then like the other bigger time was when he first took over. The first time we really saw him fight with Yuji's body, when we saw him use his expansion, way back, what was it, chapter 15? No, it was way earlier than that. 15 is the story. I think it was chapter 10 or something. But, very, very early on in the series, But now we're seeing the way he looks at all this. It's like he's some child, and like everything around him is like small animals and ants. And he knows how easy it is for him to kill them, and he's so sadistic that he plays with them and gives them alternatives of either like, you can do what I say and maybe live, or you can not do what I say and die for sure. So it's all up to you guys. So we'll see. But the meteor being dropped just looked fantastic. Jogo on top of it afterwards, like he's tired to hope. He's like, well, it's got to done some damage, if it hit him. And Takuda's just like, yeah, if it hit, he's just sitting up there with him, chilling. I'm actually very curious if that attack hit, like how much damage he would have taken. Like, I would have been very intrigued to know about that, because then we would get like an idea gauge of like the difference in power between Jogo and Sukuna, because we know there's clearly a gap, but is it like he's 5 times stronger than Sukuna, 10 times? I don't know. Either way, at this point, like they're discussing, he's like, I'm surprised you didn't use your domain. He's like, this Jogo's like, I'm not gonna do that. That's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. I'm gonna lose for sure. And obviously, like, Sukuna is taking that. He's like, is it because you lost Satoru Gojo? You're speaking like a big loser right now. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna fight with your specialty. And there's some weird character, so I'm guessing that it's gonna have something to do with like his power. And he says open, and he ends up activating like this flame ability. And I'm wondering if his multiple arms and stuff, and he's got multiple eyes, if it's gonna imply that he has a couple different curse techniques. Like, I know his, like, imagine it's some form of, like, weird gate. Like, he's got multiple kind of, like, these gateways that his powers kind of, like, intertwine with. And then, whichever one is open, he can use that power. Because I don't think this is going to be a straight flame power. I think there's going to be something really weird to it on top of it. Like, some extra ability. And, yeah, so I'm very, very much wanting to know what that is. Because one thing about me that is a forever constant thing, when characters are introduced, I want to know what their power is. Like, I can wait to see like a full fight, I can wait to see what their backstory is, I can wait to see what their personality is like. I want to know what their power is, because that's just a base thing that I know they have, but it's so easy to solve. It's not the same thing as like, oh yeah, what's this character's like philosophical idea in this series? What is their overall thing gonna do? It's like, no, that's something you're gonna have to see over a long period of time. But all I have to do is have like a page to show what somebody's power is, and then say like, this is what it is and what it's called. Bam, problem solved. I got what I wanted. But we'll see in that regard. It's gonna be a bit of a wait. It's gonna be a little bit until we really find out more about Sukuna's powers. But I really want to know. I really want to know what it is, and I'm hyped to see what's next for him. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna be the same as just like a plain power that's just super boring. Because even Jogo, it's like, is it his power to like slash and slice everything? It's like, no, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be way more complicated to that. And somebody who's really powerful and ancient like Sukuna, it would just make sense for him to really kind of bust out some big deals, crazy OP power. I mean, after seeing like what Naobito and how like annoying his power is to just kind of even comprehend, Sukuna needs something broken as hell. But anyway, other than that though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this chapter. I thought it read pretty fast but pretty well. A lot of the series this week went by pretty quickly. Like, I think Chainsaw Man's was pretty quick. Black Clover's was took a little bit longer, I think, with some of the conversation stuff that was going on. But, yeah, we got a lot of action-based stuff, and I liked that a lot. Like, the meteor shot looked fantastic. I really liked seeing Sukuna operate. We got some good villains right now, especially just going around in series. I'm pretty hyped to see about that. Like, I got Alderaan, I got Dante, I got Sukuna, I got the Gun Devil. I got a lot of stuff just kind of really popping off right now. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.